So we were just chatting, Yadira, you just took the test, you passed, so congratulations.
Thank you.
So for everybody who I'm going to share this recording with, I guess we've been studying for about 3 months on this call. Back up and give us a little background of what you've been doing to study to get to this point where you took the test.
So we started late October, and I couldn't do a lot of studying because of work. But then the last month and a half, I really stuck with it. I was going over some of the videos again. This time I was taking a lot of notes because just like one of the gentlemen that passed the test before, he says, I wrote everything down. So I thought maybe I need to do that because you do learn when you write things up. You do learn it. It gets through your brain somehow from your fingers. And I did a lot of that. I went through EVM questions. I know I asked you a few times that. I went through the EVM Made Easy from Scott, that video that helped me too. I like the Mr. PV, the Miss, what was it, Miss AC and Mrs. I just went blank.
Earn value, plan value.
Yeah, the EV.
Costs.
So yep. That helped me understand also better in that you're building tower, how you build it, how your EVM. There are not a lot of questions of EVM in the test, but you do have to know your CPI, your SPI, your SV, and your CV.
Yeah, and at least understand what they represent or what you are trying to compare and calculate in those formulas, right?
Right.
So while you were studying, and obviously, we'll talk a little bit more about the method of writing things down, the data dump, flashcards, that kind of thing. How much time do you think you were spending per night or per week?
The last month and a half, especially the last month, I was studying, at least 5 hours a day, almost. Well, some days, at least 5 hours. Because like I said, I have taken this test before and I was not prepared for it. I took a class here in Tulsa and it did not help me much at all. I thought I might be ready, but I wasn't really ready. And when I took this course, I actually understood the whole process. And when I was doing that writing, I started understanding it and thinking because the test is a lot of agile questions. I started thinking like a servant leader. And that's how I was able to pick the answers a lot faster because I started thinking that way.
That's great. I guess let's kind of talk about, you went to the test. Did you feel nervous at all, or did you go into this test super confident, like knowing you were going to crush it? How did it feel?
I felt confident, but I'm not the type of person that says, hey, I know this 100%, but I felt confident because during the classes with you and Scott, I was, answering them correctly, most of them. And I thought if I'm answering them correctly, I should know what I'm doing. And plus I understand the process and how to think on answering this question. So, but I still was nervous that when I went to take the test, they put me in a corner spot and they told me, if you need help or anything, raise your hand. And during the 60th question, I think it was, I started freaking out because I thought I have answered the 60th question. And the computer was not giving me the break that I thought I was supposed to have. So I started raising my hand and nobody will show up. Nobody. And I'm thinking, where are they? And in the meantime, I have a question on my screen and I'm, between waiting for them to come and me trying to, do this. It was Sorry, I lost you there.
It's okay. So obviously, like you took it in a test center, and a lot of people choose one way or the other, whether to take it from home or take it in a test center. I think both have their merits or reasons for doing it one way or the other. This is one example of how a test center has some difficulties that you might not have at home. But so somebody came over and told you, hey, you got to answer one more question, or you just did it?
Nobody came over, and that's why I lost some time. I bet you I lost at least 5 minutes. Plus, so I got up and I went and knocked on the window of this guy, and it's like, and then I'm sorry, So I say, I'm supposed to get a break. He says, you got to answer, keep going until the computer tells you you need a break. I've forgotten about that, so I was freaking out. So like I said, I lost some time, but I'm a slow reader as it is, so I like to read the questions twice, and so are the answers. And so I had 22 seconds left on the clock, and the only time that I went back to my flag questions were on the first 60. Second ones,
you answered all the questions, but you were down to 22 seconds at the end of the whole test, not just the break. Like,
right.
Okay.
The whole test.
So you were going to say you did go back and you checked some of your flagged answers, or
just
not
the
really?
first 60, the flagged ones on the first 60. The second one I did not, because I knew I was pressured for time, so I was just going through, even though I was flagging them just in case I had time, but I didn't. After the second set of 60 questions, I did not, neither, and I didn't on the third set either.
So I'm going to back up a step just because I'm thinking a little bit, I'm all over the place. But as far as getting to that point where you went and you took the actual exam, I know that you went through the accelerator. I know you've been coming to these coaching calls all the time, and we talk about time management quite a bit as far as getting through all those questions. Did all of that help you? Like when you sat down to take the test, did everything that we've been doing play into that?
Yes, definitely. This training helps you think the way you're supposed to think through the process without you memorizing stuff. I truly believe that, and I didn't have to really memorize a lot of stuff. I was trying to memorize my outputs and inputs a little bit, but when I was going through it the second time, day 5, I realized that it's just a lot of common sense on the inputs and the outputs for each of those processes, and also and some of those are the same.
Yep. So for everybody on here who is going to take the test, what is the best advice that you can give these guys as far as how to study, what to do with the simulators or the accelerator or the PMBOK?
Okay. Definitely finish the accelerator. And if you have time, go back to that day 5 and the agile portion of it. I think that's day 3, the agile.
Yeah, you said you had a lot of agile questions, right?
Yes, the agile, you gotta think like a servant leader a lot in the situational questions that you get. Know your leaderships, your servant, all those other ones. I can't remember now, but also know your methodologies, because there are a few questions about those. Is this an iterative, or is this a flow-based iteration? Is this an agile? I had a few of those in there.
So we have, a bunch of folks on this call that are just starting out, just diving into the deep end of the pool, right? I know throughout your journey, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was some ups and downs. There was some stressful moments. I remember we had some conversations about test scores in the simulator and how to improve those and keep working through it and trust the process. Talk to these guys a little bit about what they're going to experience. Because like some of the people on this call are just starting the accelerator, just taking their first simulators. Like, give them some of the emotional support here.
Yeah. So follow the simulator, and whenever it tells you to take those little tests, because there's some within the accelerator that you have to take, and keep taking tests, keep taking all the tests that are available there. Some are by knowledge areas, some are by methodologies. I took all of those, and I was taking those 3 parts of the simulator for the whole test, the 60 question test. I was taking them a lot of times. I mean, I would stay until 1 o'clock in the morning and, taking those tests, but I would go back and look at which ones did I miss and why are they telling me that it was wrong. I was looking at those and trying to understand it, why it was not right. I took a lot of those. I had 50%. Little by little, I start going up to 60s, then to 70s, then to 80s, and then I went back to 55.
And I think
And
that's
I
the
was
point
going,
that I'm remembering. You and I had a conversation, and you were like, "Why am I going? I'm going backwards, right?"
yeah. And I don't know if it was the new questions coming into from the bank, and me, still not understanding fully. But I took a lot of questions, a lot of those tests, and you can see in there how many I took. And I
Yep.
think that really helped in going back to, why did I miss this question? I looked at all of those, and I was actually taking pictures of them, of the answer, why the answer was supposed to be this way.
Yeah,
And
and
I
so
will look at them through it.
I think one of my points is that everybody that I have ever coached goes through this phase where there's a little bit of doubt, and they're like, "This, I'm stuck, I'm struggling, I'm plateauing." You just have to trust the process and keep working through it, keep taking the simulators, keep finding your weak spots, keep studying,
Yeah.
keep putting in the time, and it will pay off. So
Yes. And like you say, whenever I saw it was certain part of the process, I will go back and look at that methodology or that area, that process, whatever it was. I will take a test again on that and see, why am I missing those?
yeah, I think analyzing your own test scores and figuring out where to spend your time focusing your study makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For everybody else on this call, like, let's open it up. Why don't you guys ask Yadira whatever you want to know about the test or about how she studied, and
Yeah.
pick a brain.
Thanks. This is Sheila. Congratulations. You were
Thank you.
so happy for you. Just 2 questions. When you said 5 hours a day, like that kind of scared me. Did you do 5 hours straight of training, or because I find after an hour, my brain's like mush and I have to.
Well, certain days I did. Certain days I did. Not every single day. The last month I pushed it harder. Some days I will do 5 hours. Some days I will do 2 hours. I'll quit, and then again later at night when I was alone. Because even my husband was telling me, "Do you have to study that hard for this?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna pass this test."
Yeah,
And
that's right.
so I just made a point that I was going to pass it, and maybe I didn't need to study as hard as I did. I just wanted to pass it so bad, because I have to say this: it has to be more than 10 years ago. I took this test long time ago and did not pass it. And then again, I took it in 2021, did not pass it. The trainings that they had around here were not good for that. And when I found out from somebody else that have taken this training, this gentleman told me about it, and I said, I got to do this. He really said, "You're going to learn it. Believe me, they're going to help you learn the process without you having to memorize stuff."
Right.
And it's true.
That's great. Thank you. Just one last real quick question. When you mentioned some of your test scores then were going up and then you crashed down again, then did
Yeah.
it come back up again soon and you felt better, or kind of?
Yes, I went back to the 70s. I never went back to the 80. And that's why I was freaking out towards the end. And I talked to Rob about that. Okay. But then also there was a lady, Mary, that was going to take the test also. And she was only making it in the 60s. I remember her saying, and I thought, okay, if she's taking the same time I think she was gonna take it to last Friday, but I don't know for sure. And I thought, if she feels good with the 60s, then I should be okay,
Well,
because I'm
I'll
in
give
the
you guys-
70s.
I'll give you guys all a little update. So I don't know how many of you guys know Kate and Mary are both another one of my coaching calls, but they both passed last week on Thursday and Friday. So I'm on a
Yes.
roll. I had a student pass last Monday, Thursday, Friday. Yadira, you passed on
Friday.
Friday. So I'm doing great this week. I'm
Yes,
just
you are.
celebrating.
And I had to
This-
tell you, everything was about target.
That's awesome. So when we say like we want you to get 80s in the simulator, that means you are so ready to go and take the real test. Like that is, you are just extremely over prepared. And that's what I want. I want you to be like way above the bar so that it feels easier when you get in there. Lisana has her hand up. So you got a question?
Yeah, congratulations again. I just wanted to know, did you complete the Accelerator workbook that comes with the training?
I
And
did
did you-
not.
Okay,
I did not. I did some of my own notes. First of all, at the beginning, I didn't know that there was a workbook until Rob told me, and he sent it to us. And I just didn't do a lot with it, but I just went through the Accelerator, all the videos, went back to some of those videos, and took a lot of tests. That
So
was
this is going to be one of those points where I say, do as I say, not as everybody does. Like I do think if you're starting out fresh, do the workbook, or at least crack it open and read through the workbook and try to answer them the best you can. I think it helps guide you through the process for sure. So,
yeah, and maybe it would have helped me a lot better, but I just
and I'm stoked that it worked and you didn't need it, but for anybody else that's questioning it, at least try to start going through the workbook, because it poses some guiding questions to get you thinking about what you've just learned and kind of going a little bit deeper than the videos. So
and maybe you would understand the inputs and outputs a lot better that way. I don't know, but
I feel like it's
I
probably
don't wanna get hung
workbook
up on the idioms, but
The Ed say what workbook? It's the workbook on the website. It's on there.
and if anybody
but-
has any questions about where that stuff is, like I can send it to you. We can talk about it. Like after we let Yadira jump off here, Hugh, I'll show you where some of the
Well, you
Study
there.
resources
I
are.
just want to say congratulations because
Thank you, Natasha.
I started like maybe like a week before you. So congratulations. I've
Girl,
seen you.
you're
And you
ready
got-
to
you-
take that test.
and yeah,
You're
Natasha,
ready to
you're right
take that
there. You're
test.
next in line to come back on here and talk to us.
I
So
promise
don't-
you, there.
don't worry.
I'm gonna take it at the end of February.
Good.
And I'm even working on my application. I'm typing it up right now.
I want to keep in touch with you. So what's your last name, if I can ask?
It's Natasha NATASHA
Okay,
.Bing BING at iCloud.com.
got it. Good. Well,
So
you were a lot of help through all these questions, and
thanks.
Yeah. And I could tell you want to cry now, but you did amazing. You really did. And I could see the growth. Absolutely.
yeah, I remember because I felt so awkward at the beginning. I felt, oh my gosh, I don't know any of this agile methodology. I remember saying, well, I've never done agile. I'm just waterfall, but little by little, I started learning it and thinking in the process.
I love to see the teamwork between everybody on these calls, because we've been coaching with the same people for a couple months and you guys all start to become friends. And one of the things that we're trying to be better about here is to make sure we have a system after you guys pass the test to keep in touch with each other. So Scott's developing that as we speak. It'll be like
Oh, okay.
an alumni, if you will, so that
Oh,
everybody
That's sweet.
can talk about if there's career opportunities or whatever it is in their company. Like we can all share some
That's
tips and
awesome.
leads.
that's
and-
awesome.
So I'm sure we'll share that with all you guys once it's just up and running.
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Robert. You can jump first.
All right. I was going to ask, is it true that the questions are harder on the PMP exam than they are on this accelerator?
I believe so. You do get some long questions, but they don't give you a lot of run around like some of the questions in this training. They're more, shorter. You do have a few, they're longer, but not that many.
So which ones did you feel like were easier, either the ones on the actual test or the simulator?
The actual test.
You thought the actual test was harder?
No, they were easier.
Oh, okay. Because most students who pass come back and tell me that they feel like the simulator was harder than
Yes.
the real thing, so that the simulator actually prepared them above and beyond what they needed to go to the real test.
Yes.
Okay. Robert, does that make sense? I think if you can crush an 80 on the simulator, you will blow the real test out of the water.
You're definitely
Yeah.
ready. Yeah.
So you're saying to work on the workbook, isn't there like an agile workbook as well? And I think I've heard flashcards. Did you use any of those?
I did use the flashcards. I even went through it for a second time, but I did it on the website. I don't have the hard copy. I just did it on the website. I looked at
Natasha
those.
just held up. Natasha has both of those in her hand. So the Agile Practice Guide is from PMI. If you guys don't have that, definitely download it or buy it, because that's awesome. You're going to want to go through that.
Mhm.
And then the flashcards are from Scott. I think those are super helpful.
And they're on Audible as well.
They're
You
on
can
Audible
listen
too,
to
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I did a
do
whole
see-
thing. I did a thing for Scott where I, praised the flashcards, because I have a set in my office. I think they're awesome.
Mhm. Yes.
Cool. You got a question for Yadira, and then we're gonna let her jump off here, and we'll get into our regularly scheduled coaching.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Sure.
First, congratulations on the test.
Thank you.
I just want to know, how many times did you go through the 7-day accelerator? Like, did you go through the first 7 days and then go through another 7 days again, twice or 3 times? And the next part of the question is, I do have the flashcards. I'm kind of conflicted here. I spend a lot of time on the flashcards. Should I maybe spend more time taking the test instead of the flashcards, or do both?
First question. I only went through the 7-day once, through the accelerator only once, but then I went back only to certain videos like day 5. And I didn't look at the jump videos. I was looking more at the stuff that Scott goes through, because I didn't want to run out of time. Because I wanted to do other things like the flashcards and all that other stuff. So I just went through the part where he explains the methodology of the waterfall on day 5. I didn't go into the jump videos, but if you have time to redo those, I suggest you do that. And I went through the agile again also, because, since I heard a lot that there are a lot of agile questions on the test, I need to know those a lot better. So that's what I did. Regarding the tests, I was doing it at the same time and kind of going to review from what I missed on the test, going to the flashcards and see where that was, so I can understand it with the flashcard. And
Okay,
also
so
from the answer that they give me in the test.
So use the flashcards with the simulator, Accelerator one time, but then go back and rewatch important videos that maybe you need a little bit more.
Yeah, where you feel you're weak on.
Feel you're weak from the test answers. If you
Right.
get a whole bunch of answers on a simulator wrong about whatever it is, agile or risk or quality control or procurement, go and watch the specific video about that area. So, everyone's study is going to be a little bit different. Everyone has things in their current line of work that they know really well. Everyone comes into this course with knowledge that, is different. So you may have to go and study something very different than Yadira did. And I can help guide you guys down the path of where to spend that time. But I think the flashcards are a great tool to have off to the side, no matter what. All right. So my last question for you, Yadira, now that you have your PMP, it is going to be framed, it's going to be hung up on the wall. What what does that mean for you? What is the next step, and how does it help you in your career, all that?
So I've lost my job 2 years ago because of COVID, and because at the same time my company got purchased by another company and moved their main office. So I couldn't leave at the time. I had a daughter that was going to school, so you know how that is. You can't just take him away. So that will help me, because every time I look at some of these positions, they say prefer PMP.
Sure.
And that's why I thought I got to get that. I got to get that. I'm tired of not being able to show that, even though I feel like I had not training, but I have done works, mainly waterfall work. Yeah. And with this training and this test, the PMP, I feel like I can even move industry if I want to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to stay with you. Keep it up, keep your PDUs, and it's definitely going to help on the job search side of things. Every job posting that I have seen lately for project management has it listed on there. So
yeah.
Cool.
But before I leave, I want to ask you something really quick, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Regarding my PDUs for this class, I already had my application in with the other class, and I know maybe I need to talk to Scott about getting the PDUs so I can maintain my PMP for this next.
Yeah. Let's talk about it offline.
Okay.
I'll send you some links, because you need to have 60 RUs, I believe, over the next 3 years. So, you're doing 20 RUs a year. I have some great ideas of things that, from a project management standpoint, make a lot of sense to go and get those RUs doing. So there's a lot of great courses out there. And we can chat offline about that. But
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I was going to say congratulations. Thank you so much. I tell everybody the same thing, but this is my favorite part of the job, is seeing everybody smile and get through the test. You can take a break from studying for a little while and go celebrate. So
you guys can do it. If I can do it, you guys could do it. Believe me.
I love it. All right, we'll let Yadira jump off of here, and then we're gonna get into some hard questions. Yadira, don't be a stranger. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Rob.
Congratulations, Yadira.
Bye. Thank you.
I just want to say one thing to her, Yardi. I just joined, but if I put my email address in there. If you can't find anything, if you're looking for something, let me know, because I always get some of my friends that's looking from a PMO standpoint. They're looking for some project managers. So if you let me know, I will.
That's what I'm talking about. The teamwork here.
Thank you, Mel.
Everybody helping each other out, and the alumni network, we're gonna call it.
I appreciate it.
We'll let Scott call it.
I'll look you up. Thank you, Mel.
Okay, no problem.
And
congratulations.
If you guys ever need to connect with each other, just shoot me an email, and we can do that as well offline. So
okay.
Yadira, thank you so much for telling these guys your story. We'll chat soon.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.